my channel. Today I wanted to do a favorite drugstore makeup. I have been using drugstore makeup for a really long time. That's how I even started doing my makeup, how I learned to do my makeup. I did not have the kind of money to be going around buying Hourglass or NARS when I was in high school. So obviously I used drugstore. There are amazing drugstore products that I still use every single day that I like even more than some of my expensive makeup. So today I created this look and I walked you through all of the products that I would never give up and I would choose over like high-end any day. So I hope that you guys enjoy. I will leave everything that I use down below, and I'm also going to add up how much all this makeup costs so that you know how much you would have to spend if maybe you're a beginner to makeup and you want to get things in your collection, then you'll know how much all of this costs. So make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will be posting beauty videos, lifestyle videos, mommy videos, because I am 24 weeks pregnant with my little boy, Levi, so I'm excited to be making mom videos. So stay tuned for all of that, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is start off with primer. So my favorite primer of all time is the E.L.F. Poreless Putty Primer. I feel like this primer just makes your skin looks so effortless and pretty, and it hides all your pores, which I feel like I've been getting a lot more pores ever since I've gotten older. So I've just been using this and I really like it. So I just applied it all over my face. Another good one is the, the Wet n Wild Hydrating Primer. It's kind of like their new one, but I've just been using this one. They also have different versions of this Poreless Putty Primer. I think they have like a hydrating one, a mattifying one, but I haven't tried those. So anyways, E.L.F. Poreless Primer is bomb. All right, so let's start off with foundation. Oh yeah, also I wanted to mention my brushes. So I have the Eco Tools sponge, and I also have the, what brand is this? I always forget. Oh, Real Techniques Beauty Blender Dupe, whatever. So I like this one for my foundation, and then I like this one for concealer. So I just wet both of them and I just have them on hand. So I'm gonna start off with this one for my foundation. My favorite foundation of all time, I honestly feel like this is also maybe one of my top foundations, maybe number 2 next to NARS, is the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Foundation. This foundation is bomb. It will cover every single mistake you've ever made. It will cover all the sins you've ever committed. Literally, this stuff, if you want full coverage and if you want it to last all day, this is it. So I love this. I'm in the color Warm Nude. I feel like I grabbed too much of that foundation because you honestly just don't need that much because it is such full coverage. And I even have so many blemishes right now from pregnancy, and I still didn't need that much. So just make sure you don't use a lot because you honestly just don't need that much. But I love how easy it is to blend out, and it's just such a beautiful finish. And if they ever discontinue it, I will cry. So now that that's all nice and blended, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with concealer. So one of my favorite drugstore concealers is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. I think that this is super comparable to Tarte Shape Tape. It's very full coverage. It's not as drying as Tarte Shape Tape, but it's definitely, the coverage is definitely kind of the same. I also really like E.L.F.'s Camo Concealer. Those are probably my top 2 favorites. But today I'm using the Infallible because I want a lot more coverage. I kind of apply a lot of concealer, and that's just because I have really bad under eyes. It's not under eyes, well yeah, it's under eyes, but they're not dark. They're just I don't know, these weird under eyes that I get from my family, I don't know. So I use a lot of concealer, and I go in with my, this one is the Real Techniques, and I blend that out because I like how it has this little point to it, and I just blend. I'm also gonna go in and kind of spot correct some of my little scars that I have from popping pimples. Also like that it just doesn't look cakey, because sometimes Tarte Shape Tape can look cakey. Okay, now to set our under eyes. One of my favorite powders, I feel like this looks like I'm using only E.L.F, but I promise I'm not. I just really like E.L.F stuff. I feel like they're one of the brands that I used to use when I first started off with makeup, because it's like super affordable. And they have just stepped up their game so much. Like, they were good back then, but now they're really, really good. So one of the powders that I've been loving is the E.L.F Halo Glow Setting Powder. I feel like this powder just gives you a really nice glow, kind of. It's not gonna make you look dewy or anything. It's just a soft powder, and I really like that for summer. And I'm just gonna go in with my Real Techniques. This is a setting brush, and I just kind of pat it. I used to use a beauty blender to do that, but like I felt like it was a lot of powder on my face, so I've just been liking to use this brush. So what I do next, once I've set my under eyes, is I go ahead and take a little bit of my setting powder and I set in my nose area, like my nose and T-zone, because that's usually where I kind of get a little bit oily. Not a lot. I'm not a really oily person, but I just like to set there, and then right here on my nose, because that's usually also one of the places where my makeup kind of like comes off, and I just kind of dust it everywhere. And then I also put some powder on my smile lines, because again, I'm getting older and I feel like my smile lines are just becoming a little bit more intense. So yeah, I have to figure out ways to fix that besides getting Botox, which I'm not opposed to. And then I just kind of sweep it all over my face, just a little bit. I don't really like a lot of powder. Just kind of make sure that I have powder everywhere where my foundation could potentially like come off or something. Once I've done that, I do this little trick every single time I do my makeup. What I do is I grab my Mario Badescu Skincare, the facial spray. I have the one in rose water. So I go ahead and spray my face with this spray, and then I take my beauty sponge and I kind of just make sure that all my powders are like settled in and that I don't feel super dry, because sometimes after putting all that powder on, you just feel so dry. But this little trick really just makes your skin feel revitalized, and I also feel like it just helps your foundation look a lot better. Just make sure to be very like light with it, because you don't want to like move all of the work that you just did by applying all of that makeup. So I just love doing this. It just makes my skin feel so much better. And then sometimes I also even go in with the sponge that I use for concealer, just to make sure that I got all the creases and that the powder isn't like sticking to places that I don't want it to stick to, just because I have pretty dry skin. Now, my favorite part of doing my makeup, which is doing my eyeshadow. I really like doing my base too, but I do like doing my eyeshadow. It's one of my favorite things. So the two eyeshadows I'm gonna mention today are from E.L.F. I swear, it seems like I'm making like an E.L.F video, but I'm not, because I'm using other products too. I recently tried out these bite-sized eyeshadows from E.L.F. They're fairly new, and I am gonna be honest, like I'm kind of picky with eyeshadow. I usually don't like drugstore eyeshadow. I'm kind of like, that's the one thing that I will go high-end on, just because like I feel like pigments are better whenever you use high-end palettes. But last year I found the BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palette, and that one, like BH Cosmetics in general, has really good eyeshadows. And then E.L.F. came out with these little bite-sized eyeshadows, and I was super intrigued, so I picked them up, and they are so amazing. These things are $3, and they have the best pigment. Like honestly, you wouldn't be able to tell that you're wearing $3 eyeshadow. And so I have been using them non-stop. I have them in two shades. They're kind of hard to find. Like I had to find these at Target and I had to dig. They don't have them at Ulta, but you can get these online. So I got the palette in Pumpkin Pie, and it looks like this. It's just really pretty browns. Like if you wanted to do like an everyday neutral look, this would be your palette. And it just kind of reminds me of fall because it's called pumpkin pie, so that's a plus. And then I also got the color Truffles. These are just both super amazing. They have a variety of colors. They have some that are more pinky toned. I think they have like a more colorful color scheme, but I just have those two. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with both eyeshadow palettes. I'm gonna quickly run y'all through the 3 eyeshadow brushes that every person needs, and I'm gonna count Morphe and ColourPop in this video just because to me they're kind of drugstore. You can get them at Ulta. They're pretty affordable, so I think that they're drugstore. So the 3 eyeshadow brushes that I use every day that are must-haves if you don't want to purchase any other brushes for your eyeshadow, just purchase these. They are all from Morphe, like I said. So the first one is the Morphe M518. It's just like a really fluffy brush that you can use for your crease. Or is this my crease? I suck at knowing like what my eye is. I think it's my crease, but it's what I use to blend out my first shadow. The other one is the M441. These two are honestly like the exact same. It like says they're different, but I don't really see the difference. Regardless, I just use these to blend out my crease shadow. And then the other one that I use every day is the Morphe MM30, and it's just like a tapered brush like this, and I use this for my inner corner. And honestly, these are just what I use every single day. I obviously use more brushes just because I have a lot of them, but I also use this Moda Studio, which I think you can get at Walmart. And this is just like a really nice blending brush, so I don't actually like dip this into eyeshadow, I just use it for blending. Go ahead and start off with that. I always like to set my eyeshadows because I put concealer on them since I don't really use primer because that's just an extra step and I already do a lot, so I'm not doing that. And I'm in quarantine. So I'm gonna just take some of my Halo setting powder that I just used and I'm gonna just set my eyeshadow. I do this just to make sure that my shadows go on evenly, and usually I'll take like a light eyeshadow and set them, but these 2 palettes don't have light eyeshadows in them. So I'm just gonna take my setting powder, and you can do that too. You don't have to set with like a specific color of eyeshadow. First eyeshadow that I'm going to dip into is from the Pumpkin Pie palette. They don't have names on the shadows, so I'm just gonna point to them. But like I said, this is the Pumpkin Pie shadow palette, and I am going to go in with my M441, and I'm just going to use like the really light brown color as my crease shade. And I just go ahead and blend that in my crease. I'm honestly like not very neat when I add my first transition shade. I just apply it honestly just everywhere. So yeah, I'm just taking that and applying it all over my crease. What I love about these eyeshadows is that you get so much pigment off of like 1 or 2 little dips in the eyeshadow palette, and to me that is just so amazing. These eyeshadows are not chalky at all. They go on so beautifully, and I just still can't get over that they're $3. Now that we have our crease color done, I'm gonna go ahead and take the 2 like super dark browns in the palette. They're not super dark, but the 2 darkest browns in the 2 palettes. So this one's from Pumpkin Pie and this one's from Truffle. And I'm gonna mix those 2 colors and I'm gonna add it to my inner corner to kind of darken my eye a little bit and give me a more like dramatic look. Usually like if I'm not doing a lot of makeup, I would just leave a crease color, add like some sort of shimmer or whatever and be done. But today, I want to add 2. What I do is I just kind of tap in the color right on the edge of my eye, and once I see that enough color is deposited and that it's kind of giving me like a more darkened effect, and when I feel like there's not a lot of color left on my brush, then I go in and kind of take it in and blend it into my crease just like I did with the other colors. Like I'm literally just patting super gently, that way I am depositing the color, and then I lightly take the color up on my crease a little bit to darken up that look. There's always one eye that like never does what you want it to do, and for me it's my left eye. I think it's because I have like a birthmark somewhere on my eye, and it just like always looks like I didn't blend, and I'm like, I know I spent a lot of time blending my eyeshadow. Now I'm just gonna take this is a clean fluffy brush, and I just make sure that everything is blended, so I just run it across my eye very lightly in little strokes just to make sure all my colors are blended and there's no harsh lines. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply some shimmer. These shimmers are literally so good. I was really shocked whenever I applied them. So amazing. So I'm gonna take the color in the Pumpkin Pie palette, and I think I'm gonna go with the more like bronzy one, and I'm gonna just apply it all over my lid with my finger. I feel like that's like the best way to apply these shadows because it gives the best, like, I guess, color payoff. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that. I'm gonna go ahead and curl my eyelashes and put some mascara on. I wear false lashes every single day, so I don't really put that much mascara on, but I do use the E.L.F. eyelash curler. And then I always use the CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume Mascara on my top lashes right before I apply my falsies, and I have to make sure that it's waterproof because my lashes go like straight down. So I need the waterproof version so that they can hold the curl. So I use that, and then for my bottom lashes, I use the Maybelline, the Falsies Volume Express. I've used these two mascaras since high school. They're my favorite drugstore mascaras. Drugstore has amazing mascaras. I honestly don't feel like you need to spend a lot of money on mascara. Once I apply mascara, I go ahead and do my winged liner. I use the L'Oreal Linear Intense in Black Noir, and it's one of those eyeliners that's like the very fine tip. I know that a lot of people think that these are intimidating and hard to use, and I totally get it. But if you're wanting to learn how to do a winged liner, E.L.F. has these really awesome line and define eye tapes that you can get, and you just place them right underneath your eye. That way it like helps you create the wing. I obviously would recommend that you don't do your foundation first, because if you tape these on your eye, it's going to remove the foundation. But those are super awesome if you're learning how to do a winged like eyeliner look. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that, and I'm not doing that on camera because that's hard, so I need to look at a mirror. I swear my life would be so much easier if I didn't have to do wing liner, but I feel like since I've been doing it for such a long time, now when I don't have a wing, I just feel so weird, but it is pretty time consuming. Although when I had lash extensions, I didn't wear eyeliner, and that was amazing. If you ever want to clean up your eyeliner, just take your beauty blender and just kind of like shape out your eyeliner with the sponge. That way you're not taking off your like product, and it kind of like gives you that, you know, winged effect. Okay, I'm looking super crazy because I don't have my eyebrows, but I always say that you kind of look crazy like the whole time you're doing your makeup up until the end. My absolute favorite lashes of all time are the House of Lashes Iconic Lights. And I'm counting this as drugstore as well because you can buy it at Ulta and they're only $11. Oh, and I also just realized that House of Lashes is carried at Super Targets. So yeah, I guess it is drugstore. So I love the Iconic Lights. I literally wear them every single day and for special occasions, but I also really like their Noir Fairy Light. House of Lashes is just super comfortable to wear. They're easy to apply, and I love the look that they give. So I'm gonna pop on my lashes and I'll be right back. For eyebrows, my favorite products to use are from Morphe and Essence. This is the Morphe Micro Brow Pencil, and I love this. I feel like it's a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills, they're like brow wig. That one's $25, I believe, and this one's $5. So for brow products, I just don't think that you need to go and spend a bunch of money because you can just find really good stuff that's in the drugstore aisle. Don't spend your money on your eyebrows. And then just to set them, I use the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara, and I use the color Brownie Browns, and then in the Morphe pencil, I use the color Latte. I'm not 100% sure. So love these products. I'm gonna go put my brows on and I'll be right back. Brows are applied, and now we are going to finish off our eyes. So the next thing that I do is I take my Maybelline Eye Studio, and this is the gel eyeliner in Blackest Black, and it comes with like a little wand. And I line my waterline, like my upper waterline and my lower waterline. Is this called the waterline? I guess it wouldn't be called. I don't know what it's called. But I line like right above my eye. I'm gonna try to do it on camera to show y'all. It looks like it would hurt, or it looks like it would be painful, but just don't poke your eye out and then it won't be painful. If you poke your eye, well, then at least you learned, and next time you'll do it better. I just kind of lightly tug on my eye, and I just apply eyeliner right above my eye, like in that, you know, in that like line that you have on top of your eye. And the reason I do this is because I just feel like it helps everything look a lot more cohesive. Then I'm gonna go ahead and take black eyeliner and run it on my waterline. Once that's done, I've lined my waterline. We're gonna go in and add some shadow on the bottom lash line. I love doing this. I cannot do my makeup without adding eyeshadow on the bottom because I just feel like it makes your eyes pop, it makes your whole eye look cohesive, and it makes it look a lot more smoked out. So what I do is I take the exact same colors that I used on my eyelids, and I run them along the bottom of my eyelids. I'm trying to get my little brushes. So I just use like little tiny brushes. These came in my BoxyCharm. They're from Luxie, and they're just like tiny little angled brushes. And I'm just gonna take the exact same colors like I did with my eyeshadow. So I'm taking the light brown, and I'm gonna use that first, and I'm just gonna apply it all on the bottom like this. And that way, like if your eyeliner has kind of run a little bit, it won't be that bad, just because like the eyeshadow kind of covers it. And I kind of drag it alongside my winged liner. And I take another little brush and I dip into like the darker brown that I used. I'm actually gonna use this dark brown. I'm also going to apply that on top of that shadow that I just applied. And I don't take the dark brown all the way over here unless I'm trying to do like a super smoky look, but usually I just use like the dark color on the like second half of my eye. And we are done with eyeshadow. Now all I have to do is add mascara to my bottom lashes, and then we can get into bronzer and blush. Okay, so I went ahead and applied my mascara on the bottom lashes, and then I also like to take just a little bit of mascara, like I literally wipe off the majority of the mascara into the tube, and I just use the like dry wand just to kind of put a little bit of mascara on my real lashes and my false lashes to make sure that they look cohesive and that I don't have any of like my lashes sticking out of the falsies. So like that. Okay, I feel so much better, like I don't feel dead. So next we're going to go into bronzer, and I have two bronzers that I love from the drugstore. The first bronzer that I really like is from E.L.F, and this is their, I forgot what this is called, but it looks like this. It's just their bronzer. I think it's called Sunkissed or something like that, and I use this to contour when I'm using my drugstore makeup. To add a little bit more warmth to my contour, I use the Physicians Formula Butter Collection in collaboration with Weylie. I actually don't know who that is, but I think she's a YouTuber. And I just use the bronzer in Butter Bronzer. I love their Butter Bronzer like line. I love their Butter Bronzer blushes. These two blushes are amazing. They work so well, and those are actually the ones I'm gonna use today. I love them, they're amazing. This is an overall amazing palette, and it's only $11, I believe. So if you can get your hands on this, please do. And it smells like you're about to go to like Puerto Rico or something to be on the beach all summer. And I actually do think that they still have it at Target. I'll link everything down below. So I also like to run my matte bronzer on my forehead and then also on my temples, just to make sure that, you know, I'm not just looking bronze on my cheeks. And then I also grab a little bit and I put some on my jawline. And then once I have done that, I will take my Physicians Formula. I do not apply a lot of this if I've contoured because it's very, very pigmented. I literally just like pat it like this, and I kind of kick off the excess, and I just put a little bit right along where I have added my contour. I just like the color that it gives me. I'm gonna go ahead and use the blushes in this palette because I really love them. I usually mix the two together. One is very like peachy, the other one's a lot more pinky. I like to run my blush, like I obviously put it in the cheek area, but I bring it up a little bit just to make sure that like everything, like all my bronzer and everything looks, you know, blended. I like putting blush on my nose. I saw Kylie Jenner do this a long time ago, and I thought it was a great idea because it kind of gives you the look like you've been outside and you're like a little bit sunburned, you know? I don't know why I like that look, but I just think it's flattering. And I take my beauty blender that's a little bit dry now, and I just make sure everything's blended. I always do this because I always just like to double check that I'm super blended. That's that for the face. And the last thing we have to do for our skin is add our highlights. So I really like the highlights in this Physicians Formula palette, but I also really like the Wet n Wild highlights. This is the Mega Glow highlighting powder in Precious Petals, and I only add a little bit. I honestly just don't like highlighting as much anymore, especially right now that my skin isn't doing so well. I just feel like it kind of accentuates a lot of texture, and I just don't want that. I just put enough to kind of give me a nice little glow, and that one's really, really nice. The last thing we're gonna do is we are going to do our lips. For a lip liner, I really like the Milani lip liners. These are just like their normal pencil ones, and I have this one in 04, and I've had it for such a long time. I really like these. They're super buttery. They go on amazing, and they last a really long time, so those are super nice. And then for lipsticks, I have a couple that I love. So I love the Pixie by Petra lipsticks. They are super nice. They feel very hydrating. They don't feel super mattifying, and sometimes liquid lipsticks that can obviously like happen, they just dry out your lips. So I really like them. They are a little bit more expensive than like your normal drugstore, you know, line, but I think that they have really great quality stuff. Then I also really like the Milani liquid lipsticks. My favorite is in the color Adorable. It's really pretty, like light nude. I also really like the ColourPop. They're like lipsticks. I don't know what they're called, but they're just like their normal lipsticks. They're not liquid lipsticks. These are amazing. It's so soft. So much pigment. I use this all the time, and I love it. I have it in the color Appy, and it's a very beautiful nude. And then the last liquid lipstick that I'm gonna recommend to you guys is the Morphe liquid lipsticks. These are, I'm not gonna lie, they're a little drying, but I like this color specifically. It's called Taunt, and I usually pair it, like I will put this all around and then just kind of dab Taunt on the middle, or like in the middle of my lips, and I really like the color payoff that it gives me. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I am going to line my lips with the Milani lip liner. The last step is something that I do every single day without fault, and that is adding an inner corner highlight. So what I do is take any highlight that I have or any shimmer eyeshadow that I used that day, and I apply it to my inner corner. So today I'm just gonna take the highlight from the Physicians Formula palette, and I take my Mario Badescu spray and I spray my brush, and then I apply it to my inner corner. Guys, that's it. Those are my, oh wait, I forgot setting spray. Oh my God, this is my favorite part. Okay, my favorite drugstore setting spray by far has to be the Morphe Setting Mist. I love this stuff. I love how it sprays on your face. I love just like the spritzer. Another one that's really good is the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid setting spray from ColourPop. But this one is my all-time favorite. And that's it, guys. Those are all of my most used drugstore products. They're like my ride or dies. I love some of these products even more than I love some high-end stuff that I use. I just feel like if you find the right drugstore makeup, you could get the most amazing looks. You don't have to spend a lot of money. If you just find like reliable stuff, you're good to go. And these are the things that I have found and that I've been using, and I really recommend them to you guys. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe down below. I'm gonna go ahead and link all these products down below, and I'm gonna add the total of how much you would have to spend to have these items in your everyday makeup, because if you're starting off your makeup collection and you don't want to spend a lot of money, I feel like this would be a good place to start. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.